Hey, what's up? All right, so this is our first live stream, and hey, I don't know. I just thought I would come online, and I see a lot of people are. I don't even know if I'll get anybody out here. Let me look, or even if this thing tells me if anybody is looking or online or anything. But what we are here to do today is to check out the importance of scaled degrees, right? Chords based on scaled degrees, and why that's important. And we just wanted to start doing something that's a little bit different. A friend of mine told me, hey, you should do some live streams. And typically I'd be doing a live stream about something that you guys asked for, but this is the first one. So, hey, we'll check it out and see if it works. If you don't know me, this is Jeffery Curtis Music. This is Vlogtastrophy, and it's a YouTube channel that's devoted to music and worship and life, and music production, worship, and life. And so we're just looking at things and seeing how things go. And today I just wanted to talk about something that makes music a little bit easier for me. First, let me answer this. And so we're going to, I don't know how well this is going to work, and I see that it's messing up sometimes. I'm on a network that is wireless, and that's the best we can do with what we have. So we'll see how it works out, and then we'll go from there. All right, let me turn this light a little bit so it's a little bit brighter, and let's switch views. All right, so basically what we're talking about here is the scale degrees. Now, scale degrees are what's based on the scale. So if we'll look at the C scale. Let me see if I can bring up something and share it with you. Yeah, I'll bring up something and share it with you. Let me just put it in here. I'll just use C major. And let's see if I can get an image and just post it on here. Oh, this one looks good. Let's see if we can get this. Right. Okay, so I'm just going to use this music theory page, and let me switch so that you can see it inside of where I'm at here. Let me see here. Let's go with this one. We'll transition over here. Forgive me, I got the thing here. Okay, so when we're talking about scale degrees, the scale, first off, when we talk about a scale, we're talking about the notes or the tones or the sounds that work inside of a certain range, right? If you don't know music, music goes from A to G and then repeats. But in between each one, you have what's called a sharp or a flat, right? Which is the same note, really. It depends what scale you're working in. If you're working in A, you can have A sharp or A flat. But A flat is the same thing as G sharp. So it's hard to imagine. Let's switch over to the keyboard real quick, okay? We'll just switch over to the keyboard real quick. I got a picture of the keyboard here. Here we go. Let's switch over here. All right, so say we're working. Oh gosh, some breakfast. All right, so here's a C chord, right? And then D, E, F, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Right? So A If we start in A, we go through G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It just repeats. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And so on, right? It's just A, B, C, D, F, G. But these black keys are all called sharps and flats. If I'm in F, that's F sharp. If I'm in the key of G, well, that's still F sharp. But still, you can look at it this way though. That could be G flat. G. A flat means that you go down one key down. So flat means you go one key down. Sharp means you go one key up. So here's G flat or F sharp. Same tone. And that's where it gets confusing. And it also gets a little confusing right here. Here we don't have a black key, right? But F flat is this, which is a major note, which is E. It does it again right here where it goes C to B. All right, so I'm using this keyboard. So basically, if we go through all the steps, starting with A, and we'll use sharps the first time and call it all sharps. A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A. Now we can do the same thing. I'm going to go backwards because it's just a little easier. I'll start with A here, right? And say A flat, G, G flat, F. Now we could say E or F flat, E flat, D, D flat, C, C flat or B, B flat, A. So we're talking about scale degrees here. An interval is the distance between a third, right? Now, when you look at thirds, you're not looking at each key. You're looking at the keys that are inside of the scale. Now, in a C scale, you only use the white keys. So the third one up, starting with the one you're at, is root. We'll say for C, root, tonic, root, the base of the scale. And you go up 3. 1, 2, 3. That's the third interval, right? You go up to fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the fifth. If we go up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's the sixth interval. 7th, 8th. 8th is octave. Now you can represent all these notes on you can represent all these notes on a musical staff. So a musical staff, I had it here for a second. Where did I do it? Okay, a musical staff. So let's look at this page right here, courtesy of Music Theory, all about music theory. So here's the C major scale. I just played them. C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Now, if we started at A, B, C, D, E, F, same thing, right? We're not going to play the stuff there. And here's where we're talking about first position. Here's the first C, second D, third E, fourth. And most commonly, we don't write it like this. We write it in Roman numerals, right? So a Roman numeral 1. And a Roman numeral 2, a Roman numeral 3, Roman numeral 4. So here we are, C through F on the keyboard. We just showed you that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here they are in the major scale. We're not going to look at clefs right now. This is the treble clef. This is the bass clef. This is the alto clef for for altos or saxophones and some other horns. Right? But here we go. So here you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. If we were thinking about intervals on here, if we wanted the second interval, we'd put that right above there. The third interval would be on that line, right? So we'd have this one and this one. And now we're starting to build chords. Right? So here's the pattern. A pattern in a major scale is whole, whole, half, whole, whole, half. Which means a whole step is a full step. That's one complete key, right? Let's go back to the keyboard for a second. We'll go back to keyboard for a second. If I can find it. There it is. Okay, so a whole step would be one complete key. So that's one step, two steps, three steps. Actually, one step, two steps, half a step. Well, you get the idea, right? Right? Okay, so whole, half. Why is this a half step? Well, because there's no black key in between. So whole, half, whole, half. See? If we went half, to start out with, that would be there. So if we went half, 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 half. Now we're moving by step, right? That's called moving by step. All right, so, but if you notice that if you play these together, they don't sound good. The reason they don't sound good is because there is no C sharp in the C scale. See that? That sounds a little bit iffy right there. That's one of the most pulling chords, the second, augmented second, the third, the fourth. We'll get to this one later. The fifth, the minor sixth, the major sixth, the minor seventh, the major seventh, the eighth. That's called a tritone. Now those are intervals. Intervals are important. And this is all just to start talking about scales. We're talking about scales, the importance of scales. Why is it important? Well, because music, they have certain things that sound good and certain things that don't sound good. So, if we play the note, the chord, that's the chord of the major scale of C, tonic chord. Relative minor? Parallel minor, I mean. All right. So, here we got. Now, if you're thinking about, here, let's go back to this page real quick. When you're thinking about solfege, which do, re, mi, if you don't know do, re, mi's, you should learn it, especially if you're a vocalist. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Right? Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Now you learn those, and then you can learn to jump to each one. Do. Boy, my voice is messed up today. Do, re, do, re, do. Do, mi, do. Do, fa, do. Do, so, do. Do, la, do. Okay. These are important. All right, so here they are. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Right? Do would be right here. And as we go. Now we're looking at upper and lower ranges and tetrachords. That tetra stands for 4. So 4 would be what? There's the lower. There's the upper. Now here's where we start thinking about this stuff. And we've been talking about all this just to talk about this little bit right here. Right? So we're talking about, we're in the C major scale. All this applies to every scale, but right now we're keeping it simple. All right, so right here we have C. The next one. So if we look at scale degrees, we're looking at scale degrees. You have to get the lingo right. Scale degrees. Right? Here we have tonic. D would be supertonic. E would be mediant. F would be subdominant. G would be dominant. A is submediant. B is subtonic or supertone. Here it says, or leading tone. I mean, subtonic or leading tone. The reason I call this leading tone is because it never works right unless you know how to use it. So it leads you into the tonic. Right? It says, I have to go somewhere. And then you're happy, right? All right, so here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do, re, mi, fa, si, la, ti, do. Tonic, supertonic, mediant, subdominant, dominant, submediant, and leading tone. Now, I know this is a lot of information real fast. And it's really music theory. But in order to really write good music, you have to understand a little bit about music theory. And I'm wishing that they had the scale degrees in Roman numeral here, but they don't. So let's go through. First, we'll look at just major notes, okay? Just major chords. Now, a chord. Let's talk about two different things here, real quick. Harmony versus melody. Harmony versus melody. Harmony means a chord. Melody means a progression, right? For instance, here's harmony. All at once. Here's melody. Melodic. It's both the C chord. Here's the harmonic chord of C. Here's the melodic chord of C. You get it? Harmony, melody. Harmonic, melodic. So now, if we look at, first we want to start out and just look at some stuff here. Let's go back to the keyboard view for a second. Go back to the keyboard view for a second. And let me check and see if anybody's talking to me or anything. Live stream, YouTube. Okay, we had one person looking for a second, but you know, whatever. Oh, what's going? Yeah. All right, so here we go. I'm teaching all this stuff because we want to talk about scales, right? This is all about scales. Everything you need to know about scales. Okay, so now if we look at, if we were to play all major chords, which was it? It was half step, whole step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step. That's a major scale. If we use that theory, then a major chord would be whole step, whole step, whole step, whole step, whole step, and a step and a half, right? So 2 steps and 2 steps. Let's look at it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's easier, right? So 4 half steps, 5 half steps. 2 steps, 2.5 steps. There's 2 steps, 2.5 steps. 1, 2 steps. See? Okay, if we follow that all the way up the scale, we're going to start using black chords or black keys. That's what's going to happen. The trouble is there's no black keys in the scale of C. So what I just played is not the scale of C, even though I'm using all the major triads. See, that triad is not in C because it's using this black key. one's not in C because it's using this. That one's in C. That one's in C. That one's not in C because it's using this black chord. Black key. That one is definitely not in C because it's using this black key and this black key. And there we go. So what is it? Well, you have to examine how the scale works. So the first one is a major. If we go one up to where we're playing all white keys, that's a minor chord. You can also play it diminished. There's your diminished chord. But that's two. What is that called? Supertonic. It's in a major scale, it's either minor. In a minor scale, it's diminished. The next one up, E. You can only play the white keys, right? That's a minor chord. How do I know it's minor? Because it's 1, 2, 3, a step and a half. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2 steps. So it reverses. All it really is doing is lowering the center, the middle. Let's go back to C for a second. Here's a C major chord. If I lower just the middle tone, now that's a C minor chord. Major chord, minor chord, major chord, minor chord. All right. So if we lower the middle tone from a major chord, here's the D major, here's a D minor. Here's an E major, here's an E minor. Here's an F major, here's an F minor. Here's a G major, here's a G minor. Here's an A major, here's an A minor. Here's a B major, here's a B minor. Here's a C major, and we start over. So, majors and minors. The minor just means that the middle tone, the third, the interval that's the third of the chord is a minor. So if we go back what we were doing here, and we're only using white keys here, we use white key, here's C. Now, white keys, that's a D minor. It's because the middle is lowered by 1/2 step, the third. That's a minor key also, that's the third. The F is a major key, right? Because it's in the right chord form. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. See, that's major form. G is also a major. Here's the minor, but here's the major. In a C, it's a major. A, which is the sixth. The sixth is very important for almost all pop music. And the seventh. Now here's where it gets interesting. The chord in a major key that's based on the leading tone or the subtonic, the seventh, is what we call diminished. Diminished means that it's 3 steps and 3 half steps, 3 half steps. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It brings, not only is the third lowered a half step, but also the fifth. And that's that chord. And then back to, now, why did I go through all that? Why did we go through all that? Let me switch this back real quick. So why did we go through all of that? All of that. Why did we go through all that? Because once you understand that the chords that are based on the scale degrees and you're using a Roman numeral, you can analyze any piece of music and come up with the chord progression that fits, and then you can transpose it into any key and figure it out, right? You can analyze what works, what doesn't work. You can figure out why certain pop songs are using certain keys and stuff. Now, the thing about most pop music is it does not follow classical rules at all. there are certain rules in classical music. When you're formally trained, you know this, right? You know that 1, 4, and 5, and you always go back to 1, or tonic, subdominant, dominant. You always go back and use dominant sevenths, and there's a whole bunch of ways that you when you're writing where you have to go when you're using formal training. But all those rules are out of the window when you're writing for pop or any other genre, right? EDM. But it's good to understand. All right, so let's look at this. We're in the chord of, we're in G, right? Or in C. Let's see what happens if I play around just a little bit. Let's switch back over. And we're almost done. We're almost done. Hold out. We just want you to understand the scales. Recap. Well, we'll recap in a second. Let's just look back at the piano for a second. Okay, so there's 1, right? There's our tonic. So what's the 6th? What's the sixth of well, that's gonna be A minor. So here's the 6th, the 5th, the 3rd, the 4th, I mean. And I just put a 2nd. That's called add 2nd. Or suspended. You'll see a sus on some people's music. Suspended chord, suspended 2nd, suspended 4th. Okay, so here we go. And I'm using a pedal tone right here. That means I'm not changing the bass note. I'm leaving it on 1 note. So here we go. Let's go here. Here's the 6th, 5th, the 4th. What happens if we add a 7th to that 5th? Let's see. Ooh. Sounds all right. Goes like this. Let's use the upper 7th. See, now it sounds a lot better, right? We use the top one. Now I'm keeping this really simple, right? I'm only using one version of these notes, the basic triad. I mean, you can use inversions all over the place. So, what do most pop? They love to start at the 6th, right? And then they usually go to like the 3rd. So this is a minor, right? So now if you're understanding what I taught you, now when you're thinking about the Roman numerals, let me say this. A major is a capital Roman numeral. A minor is a lowercase Roman numeral. And a diminished chord, it has a little 0 up above it. It's in minor, it's in lowercase with a little like 0 on there. So you're sitting here playing, right? You're sitting here playing and you're trying to think and you're trying to get motivated and you're trying to do something that helps. And okay, so now the reason I taught you all that was so you can understand what you can play. time that they hit the root note in that whole song, right? So what are they doing? Just to show you pop music and rock and stuff, right? Here's going. What is that? That's the fourth. Okay, so they're going subdominant, dominant, submediant. Okay, and they do something, and they're playing. They're not playing the. They're going back to the G. Right? Instead of playing, they hit the leading tone bass, but they're actually playing a G. So they're playing. They put the third of the third in the bass. So let's see what it sounds like. See, that's what they. How do I know that? Well, listen to what the leading tone sounds like there. Right? That's how I know that. See, that's not what they're doing. You could get away with it. What they did was they put the leading tone right before they hit the went back to the root, right? So it's if I wanted to go to now, that song was not in C, but I'm able to do it in C because I know how those things work now, and so do you, right? Let's switch back over. All right. If I got there was hey, how's it going out there? I see some people are watching. Anyway. So now, if you have any questions, go ahead and just put them in there. So, what did we learn? What did we learn here? We learned what we need to know about scales to produce good music. Not everything, just the very basic parts. I mean, there's a lot more to learn, But what we wanted to teach you was, one, how a scale is formulated. Two, where the scale degrees, the chords that are based on those degrees and how they work. And so, what were they again? They were tonic, supertonic, mediant, subdominant, dominant, submediant, leading tone, or subtonic, tonic. Now, one thing about pop music, it really likes to, I'm just going to finish with this. This note right here, in pop music, most of the time they really like to use the major in that chord. So they, in most pop music, and that breaks all the rules, you understand? But that doesn't matter, right? So if we use that. Sounds weird, right? But that's what they do. That's what a lot of people do. So, just to show you something real quick, I'm going to bring up some of my notes, if I can find it real quick, and show you something. Let's see, text. I use this stuff when I'm thinking about what I'm writing. Right? I'm gonna switch it over to my screen view real quick. just to show you what's going on here. If I can find it. Here we go. All right, so in my screen view, first off, if you like that piano sound, you know that is just one of the stock sounds out of Ableton Live, right? It's just a stock sound. It's not even a plugin, and it's really nice. Yeah, nice. I mean, I've paid a lot of money for my plugins. Here's the thing I wanted to show you right here. All right, so here I'm looking at some pop or some EDM music, right? And here we have Z Clarity, right? It's written in A flat. So A flat, that's right here, right? A flat. Anyway, and so that here I found the verse notes, and then I figured out what they were. So in Z Clarity, he goes from a 2, which is, they're using a major second. Then they go to the 5th, the dominant chord, and then they go to the minor 3rd, and then they go to the major 4th. This is interesting, right? So the major second. Well, if I'm in the key of C, the major second's here, like this. And the 5th is G, so they're going G, major 3rd minor. That's the only, that's still in the key. And then the 4th, right? Which is what, A? Let's see. No, F, excuse me, F. So that's interesting though, right? So they're hitting a major second there. It's supposed to be minor, but it's major in the song. G. So I transposed it just that easy on the fly, right? By using the Roman numerals. Once I figured out what the Roman numerals were, I could put it in any key that I wanted to. And I said that the drop holds on F minor in that song. Year of Summer, that song I sort of like it, but what I do, I looked at it, I found the keys, the chords that they were using, I transposed it over to whatever chord was based on that and then that's what we came up with. 6th. So 6, look at here, they use this is interesting right here. Year of Summer, they're using a 6, right, which is a A, which should be minor in a I mean major in a minor. We didn't get into that, but then they go to the 7th. Sounds weird, but it sounds good on the song. I'd Rather Be Alone, Alice DJ. It's in A flat minor or G minor, G sharp minor, whichever you want to choose right there. And they go 6. Minor 5th, which is an odd thing to do, but a lot of people do it. 5, then they go from the minor 5th straight into the major 5th. Then they play, what is that? A minor tonic, and then they go to the major 7th. See, and so this is the whole reason I taught you this, right? To learn how to make the chords on the scale degrees and understanding scale degrees so that you can look at music and you can begin to understand where they're going. What's this song? This is, I didn't even write the title. Oh, Only Got Eyes for You. Only Got Eyes. That, I think that's a song from Delirious or Martin Smith. All right, so. All right. I don't know. Do you have any questions out there? If you have any questions, oh, I see we lost the viewers. Oh, well. If you have any questions, please hit me up. Go ahead and ask anything that you want to know. And I don't even know how well this worked, but we'll check it out. And hey, see you later.